Hey, this is Cody Horton. I'm excited to have you here. I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us for this webinar on brand continuity. Is your employment brand and messaging inclusive? I've been working in diversity recruiting and helping companies for the past couple of decades with their diversity recruiting and inclusion work. And I'm thrilled to have my good friend of at least 10 plus years here, Scot Sessions. Scott, I want to kick it over to you and let you talk a little bit about your background.
Cody, great to be here with you. Is it really 10 years? How did that happen? I can't believe it. Neither of us have aged a day, I don't think, right?
That's right.
Right on. Well, so great to be here with you. I've been in the TA space for a little over 10 years and with a definitive focus on diversity and inclusion for the last almost 3 years. And so very passionate about that. I run a diversity inclusion recruiting platform now that my partner and I founded a couple of years ago, really with the focus to help companies see beyond the obvious. And so I'm excited to be here and talking about diversity branding with you today.
Scott, I don't think we could have a better person join today. I really wanted to, we're doing this webinar a little bit differently today. Scott's got so much insight, and this topic is hot off the press. So I want to make sure that we give a chance to answer some questions. So we're going to go through, we're going to hit some topics. We're also going to be taking questions throughout the webinar, and then we're going to also answer some questions at the end of the webinar. And then we'll be following up with additional information and just some tips and guidelines that will help you when you walk away and you go back to try to implement some of these thoughts into your own company. Scott, one of the questions I think we start with is really, what is an inclusive employer brand, and why is it important?
Oh, that's a broad question. So there's employment branding, and then there's inclusive employment branding. And so if we can, let's take those as two issues and then see how they meld together. So companies who are working to have a strong employment brand are making efforts to show future and current team members that they work for a great organization. And that comes about through how they talk about the company, how they talk about the employment opportunities, to make it very friendly and inviting to want to work there. When we talk about an inclusive employment brand, now it's ensuring that you're talking to the different types of individuals that you may have working for you, whether it's gender, whether it's ethnicity, race, sexual orientation, that you're not sidelining any group, but that you're talking about them in a more inclusive way in how you are posting information on your employment page, what your boilerplate says about your company and why it's fun to work at our company, not just for white males 25 to 45 years old, which is typically the employment brand that's put out for majority of companies. It's got to be opened up and peeled back to make sure that it comes across and is a very inclusive employment brand, so that you're talking to all of your potential candidates, diverse candidates, and your diverse workforce.
Yeah, Scott, I think what you're talking about is so key. When I think about the employment brand, right? The employment brand is that emotional connection between the candidate and your company, right? People don't make decisions based on logic. They may use logic in part of their thought process, but the decisions get made on emotion. And are they connecting emotionally with your brand? And I think you have to define who you want to hire, as we're looking to hire more diverse and inclusive people. As you said, employers are going to have to focus on what is going to be emotionally appealing to the person to connect them to your brand.